Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT News, and wow, what an eventful 24 hours in the North American Qualifier. The more observant of you will have noticed there's no green screen today, taking a bit of a break for a couple of days, but we still have to deliver the content. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always. I would really appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. And well, let's dive into this. Firstly, things were kicking off between Zeek and kind of the version 1 guys, who ended up actually qualifying right in the end. But Zeek, of course, on Ascend, he goes on to say, NA Tier 2 decision making is worse than my ranked enemy teams. Most of our region doesn't even know how to practice, Curry says. Of course, on T1, they were embroiled in some serious controversy later on in the day. But as Zeek says, still can't get over the fact that when we scrimmed version 1, one guy no clips to break Killjoy that would win us the rounds. And when we told them they shouldn't do that, they said that EU is weak and can't have fun. So, I mean, no clip effectively, like, basically just cheating, right? Like, you disconnect from the ground and just run away and stuff like this. So, I mean, yeah, kind of absurd. Now, I'm not really sure how long ago this was, but Zelsis does go on to respond. If you're going to tweet this, give some context. It was a 4v1, 5v2 near the last round, if not the last round of the scrim. And then after killing the ult, you won the round, and that was the end of it. We had 100 ping and 70 FPS. We should have cancelled the scrim, but we didn't want to do that to you so close to it. We thought we would be nice and at least give you some practice instead of a last minute cancel. So I guess a nice little back and forth right here. And in the end, Zelsis and the guys over at version 1 end up qualifying for the North American Qualifier, of course, the challenger side. But I mean, still, I thought this was kind of funny, really, to kick off the day. This little drama in a way between Zeek and some of the V1 guys about what they were playing at in scrims, but well, certainly still some more drama was to follow in later on in the day. So let's first of all dive into the winners bracket here in the North American Qualifier, because xSet go on to qualify quite comfortably. This was frankly really impressive, because given how good the guard looked just a couple of days ago when they beat FaZe, of course, yesterday, or in yesterday's video we talked about it, it was looking like, okay, these guys are going to be pretty unstoppable. Some disgusting spray transfer, to be honest, here from Zekin, and I mean, yeah, he helps them to win the round. xSet qualify relatively comfortably here in the end. They beat guard 2-0. This is the overall bracket, as you can see on the winner's side. So NRG went on to lose to xSet. They beat the guard 2-0 in the finals. The guard beat the Knights. Luminosity lost to the guard as well right here. And TSM went down to the Knights 2-1. So they find themselves in the lower bracket. This is, if you guys want to pause and just check this out for a second. The other side of the winner's bracket looked like this. So version 1 took down a crew. Then they beat Rise 2-0 in the upper semi-finals to qualify officially for challenges. So congratulations to the version 1 guys. It was a crew that took down Pioneers. Rise beat Sonics. And then after T1 beat Gen.G 2-0, it was then Rise that took down T1 2-0, dropping T1 to the lower bracket, which meant that we would end up finding ourselves a TSM versus T1 battle on the lower side. And that, of course, would get very entertaining indeed. So, yes, version 1 qualify. It's xSet the qualifier on the other side. 2 more teams, I believe, will qualify today. This was one of the games that then happened in the lower bracket, TSM versus Luminosity Gaming. And this was a 2-1, but this was not an easy 2-1 by any means for TSM. An absolute gauntlet of a match. Wardell went plus 22. He was pretty dominant. Sub Rosa had a great series as well. But look at these individual map scores, right? 13-11 on Splits game 1. Look like, okay, TSM, they're going to win this one. They're going to get away with it. 13-11 then for Luminosity on the game 2. Of course, with this new team with B-Dog there, he's certainly been a bit of a revelation for them. A lot of people say they're looking very good in scrims right now. But still, they don't end up continuing in this qualifier, because 16-14 in the end on binds goes the way of TSM. So I guess some clutch factor from the TSM guys. They just about to get over the line here and win this one. And that leaves the lower bracket looking just like this. So TSM beat Luminosity 2-1. Ambox fell out to Bait Academy, who ended up losing to a crew. Then at Knights took down Sonics. NRG took down Pioneer. So still, these are the guys that are alive. FaZe Clan are completely out of there, by the way. They lost to 2-1 in the first round. So yes, that FaZe Clan team that was touted to be pretty damn good. They went down, of course, to the guard yesterday. Then they lost to Pioneers in the very first round. So FaZe Clan are straight up out of there. NRG, or Gen.G, sorry, they beat Renegades 2-1. And well, NRG are still alive in the lower side here up against the Knights. They're going to have to win this one and then beat Rise if they want to qualify. And on the upper side, it's now TSM versus a crew. The winner of that plays the guards. The winner of that qualifies as well. But this series is where the controversy started. TSM versus T1. You can see it's kind of surprising it, right? Because it says 1-0, but yet TSM somehow win the series. What's going on there? Certainly an explanation is in order. So TSM say, okay, they're going to play up against T1. They took down Luminosity just about. This, of course, is going to be a great matchup on paper. Steel & Co. up against the TSM guys that, of course, has made some roster changes. And, not exactly looked comfortable and convincing over Luminosity. And probably T1 should have been favourites going into this series. And you can see right here already T1 are up 1-0 in this series. They then go into Icebox and 7 wins at an incredible 1 versus 3. The really he should never have won. This is pretty ridiculous 1v3 actually, because like I mean these final 2 guys, not sure why they challenged at the same time. Like he doesn't really have all that much time to plant. Like probably one guy should just come around the corner. But I mean still not sure what they're playing out there. Still this it seems like T1 are going to run away with this, no problem at all. But the game 1 there was some controversy happening as a result of it, because, well, as Subrosa says, between the series or between the maps, I'm playing versus a team that has their coach typing and probably talking to the mid-game GG 6 versus 5. So this is quite remarkable because we saw that this happened to G2 recently. Not sure there's been an update on that really, but Pipson seemingly was talking in the game chat with Nuki that was leaked in a clip that Nuki put out. But still, apparently, the coach, right, of the T1 guys was talking in the game chat, or at least typing something or other in the chat, and then accidentally did it in all chat rather than just their team chat. And the Subrosa confirms that right here. So then we've got this from Dephh, right? He kind of calls out Subrosa, saying, look, tweeting mid-game for impressions while you're losing, just stream out, I get it, you do not want it enough, right? So talking to Subrosa and the guys, I guess, on TSM, saying, look, you're losing, you're trying to make excuses, you're doing this mid-game, like, what are you playing at, right? So that was, of course, pretty spicy, all things considered. And then Subrosa put this out, and of course, this is kind of sideways, but it says, Riot is investigating the map 1 text during the match, we'll let you know ASAP what will come as a result of that. So yes, he says, lol, like, they're investigating this one, right, against whatever's going on with the T1 coach. Steel gets kind of bored of it, he puts this out on the Twitter, and then, of course, he tweets this out, right, which was the game 1, right, 13-7, very comfortable victory. I guess he's kind of saying, look, you know, whatever our coach did, we still won this map comfortably. You guys are just salty, effectively, that you lost this game 1. And everyone was kind of wondering what exactly went on here, who did what in this game to make this happen. And as Corey points out from the TSM front, I don't know if I can say it was like a communication, right, like the coach effectively put something in the comms or in the all chat, accidentally meant to put it in their own chat about something, you know, where some walls, what to do, which of course you're not allowed to do. The coach isn't allowed to interfere like that, especially, you know, you can talk in timeouts and stuff, but not in the actual game itself, especially putting something in the chat, certainly not acceptable. Now, of course, to police this is pretty difficult, but I guess he accidentally put it in all chats and therefore got caught as a result of it. Now, this apparently is what he said helped Sewer, so kind of talking about, well, Seal right here, because this is a classic moment from back in the iBuy Power days, but apparently help Sewer is what was put in the chat right here by the coach to kind of say on split, look, that's what's going on, there's people in the sewers, that's where you guys need to look. And apparently there may have been also some other things said, because the Subrosa goes on to say, I honestly wouldn't have complained about it, but this kid typed Rosa alt, so apparently he wasn't just talking about a help Sewer or whatever on the splits game that of course was then, well, it went in T1's favour, then it was investigated after the fact, because I'm pretty sure initially it was Subrosa said that it was kind of like they got a warning for it, or was at least like said it was going to get investigated, and then it was kind of during the game 2 where things started to kick off. So apparently he was talking about the fact that, you know, Rosa had his ultimate up as well, and all this type of stuff that really the coach shouldn't be saying to the team. And as a result of that, there was some significant impact. So Subrosa then tweets this out, GG well played at T1, basically saying, look, we didn't really hear about anything about this yet from the public side, or anything had actually come out there, but it seems like, yes, T1 actually lost this series, TSM get the victory effectively by forfeit, and then Riot go on to explain competitive ruling as they describe right here. T1 will forfeit their January 29th match against TSM in the North American VALORANT Champions Open Qualifier 1 due to violating rules regarding unauthorized communication during a match. The competitive operations team was made aware of evidence of a T1 coach, and not said exactly specifically who it was, to T1 players while their match against TSM was in progress. Any communication between non-players and players during a match is prohibited outside of designated tactical and technical pauses. All players are expected to abide by the rules of fair play that they agreed to uphold prior to participating in the tournament, and they go on to say the specific ruling and relevant rules that have been breached, and therefore they get, well, disqualified from this entire tournament. Big question really about this, right, because as Leaf says, surely you bring more context to it, right, exactly what was said. Like, if all he said was help Sewer, surely you forfeit the map, not the whole best of 3, says Leaf for Cloud9, which is, of course, an interesting question, right? Like, yes, maybe you just say, okay, you forfeit game 1, the coach shouldn't have done that, let's continue. Maybe there was more to it, right, that he was continuing to do it on game 2, who knows, right? But still, you could well argue that this is a, well, harsh punishment, right? Maybe just map 1 gets forfeited or something, but you could argue whether the team was in on this to some degree, and you know, maybe there was more communication in the logs, I'd assume so, just wish they give more context as opposed to leaving everyone out in the cold. And just to finish off with this from Curry from the T1 side, might be the most unlucky player in North America VALORANT history, so that leaves T1 in a tough spot. They've got forfeited. I don't imagine this is going to get overturned or anything, therefore the next qualifier coming up soon, they're going to have to, well, bomb through that one, of course, and do particularly well if they want to even qualify for challenges. Despite looking really good here, I'm probably going to win this series against TSM and a decent chance to go on and continue through the tournament. Things that certainly took a turn for the worse, but very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on the like button, tell the YouTube gods this is a good video, and as like you should see it as well, and I've grown the competitive VALORANT community. Thank you very much as always, take care, and I will see you next time.